Hello, I'm ABX Toycat, and today I'm going to be playing in my Let's Play world, also known as a forever world. It is a world that I intend to play in for as long as I'm playing Minecraft, and one of the big projects that I'm a big advocate for, if you ever want to get more progress made in your world, is to work on the transportation systems. Ultimately in Minecraft, the most functional transport is always going to be the elytra, followed maybe by an ice boat or a horse, but it's still fun to have classic minecart rails, it's still fun to have classic roads to walk along, and it's still fun to have, I am unashamed to say, it's really fun to have minecart rails. So I have this big one that starts over here. This is my, oh, it's a little laggy as we load in, it seems. This is my tutorial world copy. From the famous Mince Rat Xbox 360 edition, and I have a minecart that starts here and goes some pretty crazy distances actually. Also, it's so laggy. I'm sorry. Anyway, what a weird start to a video. I think that Minecraft Bedrock is a little bit laggier than usual right now in all sorts of weird ways, and apparently that's one of them. But anyway, yeah, so I have this big minecart system that goes all the way from here, all the way across the west of my world. In fact, let me show you using the far more commonly used means of transportation, the elytra. It goes underneath my desert, where there's an entrance right over here. As you can see, this is an entrance to my underground rail, and every one of these entrances and stations is designed with kind of functionality and efficiency in mind. Wow, look, it goes all the way down under the world and all the way across there, and I realized something recently, which is that I have two separate metro lines in my world, but I don't have any real way to connect them, and they're also both not fully built out. Wouldn't it be cool if there was a way to get all the way around my world using these? Wouldn't it be even cooler if I could, like, lay the groundwork for having more lines? Well, that's what I'm going to be doing today. This is my big kind of plan today, because I'm leaving tomorrow. If you don't know, I've got a little bit of I guess as you might know, I take Decembers very seriously. We stream a whole bunch as well as making the daily videos. December is always a crazy time, and you probably know why if you know YouTube. But it's as a result, I think it'd be good to, I've not been taking weekends for a very long time, but I figured I'd take a weekend-ish, a Sunday, Monday. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be taking a couple of days, and just before I left, I figured, rather than biting off a giant project with the skygloo, I want to get to that. We have a very exciting thumbnail Scoopsy Cat has made for it. But I figured instead of biting that off, why don't I work in my Let's Play world? I genuinely got home today, and I was excited because besides the stream, all I had to do, I had like 10 minutes of work I had to finish, and then it's like, oh yeah, and I could hang out building some stuff. And I sort of got round to it, but I was like, now the stream, and I'm gonna have to do this. And I was like, wait a minute. If I'm playing Minecraft, why don't I work on the thing I most want to? And right now, that is my underground railway. And so, yeah, I've got, this is my favorite station so far. It's the big salmon that brings you underground, and it's kind of built up around this, kind of showing you like, oh yeah, just a few simple blocks makes a huge difference to how, oh, I'm still in the middle of the screen. Hello. Sorry to cover up my hotbar. I'm still used to RuneScape apparently. But yeah, I'm going to make sure that we go through here and get some decent amount of wool put in. This means I'm going to need some red wool for this line and some orange wool for the other line in large quantities. But the good news is I have a plan for that. I've also got a very messy inventory I'll have to do some stuff with, but it also means I have the space, if I want to name each station. Now that we have shelves, if I want to, I could place down 3 little shelves over here, like there, and I could name this station Big Salmon. And every station can actually have a name. There's all sorts of possibilities for stuff like that I'm excited by. But yeah, basically, I figured one of the fun things about new Minecraft updates is they are very little touches that you can then try to use for yourself. Also, Vartelli lol, long time no see, Minecraft just hasn't interested me in months. Are you telling me I'm only interesting if Minecraft's interesting? Because fair enough, but that still hurts. No, I totally get it, right? Like, there's a lot of, it's weird, but totally understandable that the way that a lot of people engage with games that they enjoy is via the means of like, oh yeah, when I'm really into a game, I watch a bunch of YouTube videos of that game. It's, it seems kind of weird on a surface level, but to me at least, it makes perfect sense. And I think it's kind of cool in its own little way. Anyway, let's put away our oak logs. Let's put away our Nautilus shell. Whatever that is doing with me, I don't know. I've still got these ink sacs, and I've got the funniest story behind them, chat, but for now, You'll just have to trust that I have a good reason for having those ink sacks. Let's grab some red dye. I'll probably the entire stack of red dye, to be real with you. And then I'm going to need a bunch of yellow dye as well. Thankfully, I keep a big box filled with flowers. So let's grab some... Honestly, should we just grab a stack of each? And then an extra stack of... Yeah, a stack of each will be good. I probably need even more than that. If I'm being entirely real, 2 stacks of each flowers. Let's go. Then we'll put these back away. And then we'll go and grab some wool to work on my tunnel. Also, hey, I read that just before you did, said Zachary2Player. That's crazy. Are we reading the same chat? Also, how about Minecraft is only interesting if you are interesting? Yeah, exactly. I genuinely could see, you know, KMB, if you want to feed my ego, I could see that, right? Like, if the creators you are watching for a game are interesting, you'll be more interested in playing that game. If you are a YouTube first person, I would describe myself, I feel like, you know, I'm gonna put this on here. But I feel like if you're a YouTuber first person, if you like watching a lot of content, then when you, like, the thing that got me back into old school RuneScape was I watched a really interesting series. It's one I've been trying forever to bring some of the best stuff to Minecraft. The concept of Tileman, I was mind blown by this concept, and I was like, I love the concept of playing a game and then limiting yourself so much. And so yeah, it's also is the guy from Mega Man's name or Titan. By the way, I want to quickly just go back to a message I got from Megaslump, who says, I lost my fiance of 2 years. Thank you for this, Toy Cat. I needed the company badly. I'm sorry to hear. That's such a it's such a large scale human tragedy. You know, it's one that happens frequently, but it's crazy just how, you know, like something that is like, well, that happens every now and then is such an impact on the individual. And I'm sorry to hear that you've gone through that. I hope that the internet, the parasocial relationship is many things, but the fact that it is also company when you need it the most, in the most comforting way possible, is nice. If you want to be active in chat, here to get you. If you want to sit back, relax while we talk about minecart rails, good for that too. That's what I think is kind of fun about streams. At least, you know, it's what I like about watching streams. It's what I like about doing streams, if I'm being next level honest with you. So yeah, I've got myself a bunch of red and yellow dyes now. So if I wanted to, I could simply take a stack of this, take a stack of that, make 2 stacks of this, and now I can make a bunch of wool. And I could do this by using regular wool. It's very inefficient, but you can do it, don't get me wrong. But I had another idea. Because although shearing wool is a very great idea, and I've done this recently, but I can do it again, I think I should actually recolor some of my sheep. I think I'm going to make a few orange sheep in here. Like, why do I have brown sheep anyway? There's no reason for it. So dye the sheep first. Get more than 1 wool for your dye. That's one way to get value, I would say. I'll dye this guy too. I think... Oh, you can't dye him while he has no wool. That doesn't make any sense. If he has color, why can't I dye him? But we'll leave him be for now. So yeah, I could use all of my white wool that I do have plenty of, but I have another idea, so let's go for it. Today is the Xbox 360's 20th birthday. That is crazy, KMB. It's genuinely, it blows my mind because it's the Xbox 360's 20th birthday in, I think, the US. I think it's actually older in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. So it's crazy that technically speaking, the Xbox 360 is more than 20 years old, which just, it's such an aging fact because the Xbox 360, you know, you ever have that feeling that you're way too late to the party? The Xbox 360 to me felt like that. That was like the end of evolution in gaming, and you know, you could argue that maybe it was. But the fact that that exists, to me, like the fact that that happened and now 20 years have passed, first of all proves that it wasn't the end, there was a bunch of stuff. But it then also kind of has the knock-on of, I'm just going to have to get a bunch of dripstone, by the way. It's what we do. But I also have just down through here, I have access to this chest that runs underneath a spider farm, and that is particularly valuable to me. Okay, we have to swim somehow. It's very tricky to swim, but I'll do it. There we go. I'm going to swim up through here, and this is my big old chest of string, and there's a fun thing you might not have ever known about string, which is you combine 4 of it in a crafting table, and you'll get this, a single stack of wool. So we can take that stack, and we can take this stack, and it's kind of a painfully inefficient recipe, but we'll make a stack of orange wool. And then we'll take another few stacks, and we'll make a stack of red wool, and it'll be great. So let's make sure that that is what we're doing here. Make another stack, and then let's make some red wool. No, look at that. Minecraft tries to trick you into coloring your wool wrong. It is dumb. It is wrong. It should not do that. But, yeah, I've got many complaints, but we'll roll into it. YouTube is killing Dash's social life. You know, I'm gonna say more than YouTube is killing Dash's social life. I think there is a long list of complainants that she may have before YouTube. Also, how is the Microsoft product released early in Japan? Yeah, it's an interesting point. But anyway, so it's 20 years old now, right? And so that kind of ages me because when it first happened, I was like, yeah, all games are going to be like this forever. I'm too late. All the cool classic games have already happened, but now there are people growing up who think that Halo 3 is a classic game. There are people growing up now for whom, like, you know, Minecraft Xbox 360 came out so late into the lifespan of Minecraft, of the Xbox 360, but to me, it's my, like, favorite game on the platform, but I am late for that game, you know? Also, I think I should make more wool. Before I leave here, I think there's no good reason not to. Just make a ton of wool, and then we can leave it running for some lore. Also, so yeah, we'll run back in through here. It'll be great. But, good evening to my favorite cats and mods. Good to see you, Polymush. I want to make sure that I didn't get a comment from, I want to make sure I didn't get another comment that I ignored from Mr. Lump, Mega's Lump even. Okay, it's good. You're sitting back, you're relaxing. That is exactly how it needs to be. Just wanted to make sure. Because I really can't stress this enough. Like, I feel like when things are good, it's really easy to just assume, and they will be good forever. That's just how things are. But at least for me, it feels like there's always another not tragedy, but you know, there's always something like that will be there one day, and so it's nice to appreciate those moments. Okay, so we've got plenty of white wool now. We can turn all of this white wool into dye later, and if we can't, then we can do some other stuff with them. Also, let's play idea. Toycat collects a stack of each dye, then wastes them all on the same block game. That will. Also, do you think Minecraft is a classic game? So, this is the funny thing. I think that what's actually happened is the games that I thought were at the pinnacle of technology, they've all now become, they've become classics. So, not the games I thought were like, you know, it's obviously, this isn't anyone's classic. They're all classic, you know, the Halo 3s, the Gears of Wars, the, you know, the Forza motorsports of the world. All of these games have, you know, gone through their own things. But what I think is interesting, so let's make another red dye real quick. So no, let's make another orange. It's tricky. So let's go into our tunnel and let's work on this now. So here is my big thing, chat. I've got 2 tunnels in this world. One of them goes from, in fact, actually, you know, if I'm going to explain this to you, you know, just in case, I'm going to assume you are invested and you're looking at your screen. If not, I'm going to use the secret technique we worked out before. Now is the time to look at your screen. In case you are listening to this in the background, as you are primed and likely to do, you might want to understand this. So my Let's Play world has 2 tunnels. I've got a red one, which goes from here all the way across to over here. And then I've got an orange tunnel that runs from here all the way down and diagonally across to over, actually it goes all the way down to there where the stronghold is. So there's a big orange line, which is like northwest to southeast, and a big red line, which is west to east. However, there's a bit of place where they overlap, but one is way above the other. And I always thought, like, you know what? That makes sense. There's a subsurface line and there's a deep level line. I thought that was a fun way to do the lore for that. But I think it'd be way better to have an actual interchange, and then also to have a map for it later. I think that's like a fun idea we should jump into. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to go and I'm going to make sure the 2 stations and the 2 tunnels actually connect right now. I am trying to read a book too. Feel cooled out. That's actually quite impressive, Chilius Bean. I think that, you know, the concept of, like, attention use is very commonly used on the internet to talk about all sorts of things. But, like, when it comes to, like, spreading your attention efficiently, I do think sometimes one thing is not the most efficient way to use it, but I'm not a good multitasker. I feel like the very few times it's good for me is playing a video game and listening to something, because you're using very different parts of, you know, I guess using both hemispheres of your brain sometimes feels real good. But I cannot imagine reading a book and listening to something ever not using the same part of my brain. So unless you're doing like a computer where you're like 2 cycles of book, 2 cycles of words, 2 cycles of book, 2 cycles of word, or unless you read the book and then you're like, you know, this isn't so good, let's listen to Toycat again. Oh, he's talking about genocide, back to the book, and then it's like, oh, he's diving into a deep philosophical concept, and now he's talking about the best way to use the toilet. Back to the book we go. So that's the only way I can imagine it being. Like, people talk about multitasking, but I wonder... There's a difference between multitasking and being good at not getting caught not multitasking, right? That's what I think we forget about sometimes. You should have a really big station with 3+ levels. Red, orange surface. Ooh, that's a fun idea, Balo. Actually, yeah, I think... Okay, that... Well, I don't think I can do 3 levels. But I can definitely connect the surface rail down to here. So first of all, let's talk about what my problem is. So I've got this big red line. It's going to run out all the way over there. This is at Y44. Whereas my other line... So let's go out through my nice... stronghold right here. Wow, look how beautiful this is. I made it big and beautiful and long, and there are no issues with it whatsoever. This is just how strongholds look, chat. Isn't this impressive? Okay, but if we go through this entire thing and out through the surface, there's a ravine near here, funnily enough. It's been massively overdeveloped. I don't know who plopped a stronghold in front of this ravine, but I've got this this line here, and it goes right through this ravine. As you can see, instead of Y44, it goes up to... Oh, this is going to be a nightmare to fly into. This is why you need minecarts to get around your world. But it goes up to like 56 up there. Okay. Let's just fly up and then... Oh, okay, there we go. We're in. It goes to 58. And so where the 2 tunnels should connect, one is 12 blocks below the other. That seems like such an easily not missed opportunity that I figure we should do something about it. And so we're going to do something about it. Down there... is where the stronghold is, right? In fact, we could probably see the 2 tunnels from each other. So over here, this is where the tunnel is. It's, as you can see, Y44, and the other one's above it. I thought that was clever for clearance reasons, but I think what I should actually do is have them, like, go side by side. So I'm going to bring that tunnel from up here, down through here, right next to the stronghold. Yes, that will be annoying, but we'll bring it right over here. And so where there's currently 3 blocks for the track here, we'll have like a platform in the middle here, let's imagine. You know, I'm really nerdy about trains, so I'm making a whole Minecraft Let's Play about trains. Isn't that great? Also, Polymush, I had a tooth extraction and the dentist had to break it to get one of the roots out. That tooth extraction sounds like it broke you a little bit, if I'm being honest, Polymush. By the way, when did you change your name, Polymush? Or is this another one of those, like, YouTube changed it and you're just going along with it sort of things? So, yeah, actually, I can't go too far this way because I'll dig into the stronghold. That's a problem. I guess what we could do is we could have the platform be raised up in the middle here, like off to one of the 3 side blocks. But then it raises the question of why the tunnel is 3 blocks to begin with. I think the tunnel has to be 3 blocks, and the minecart track has to move towards it, maybe? No, I guess we could have the platform be raised up from there. So we'll have 2 blocks here. We'll have, like, these 2 blocks be the middle, and then a minecart track runs through this side here. And this could be where the red line goes. Speaking of the red line, I stopped my boat right on top of a trident round when you said to look at the stream. Somehow it didn't see me. Honestly, the boat can protect you in that weird situation. So you're welcome. Just protected you real good. So yeah, our red line is going to go this way, chat. This is how I'm envisioning it. And then this is where the red line goes. And then I'm thinking on the other side... which annoyingly will have to be through the stronghold, so apologies to any preservationists out there. But the other side will go through here, and I'll put a bunch of orange wool blocks here instead. So orange wool all over the place. Easy peasy. I am going to fill up my inventory like it's no one's business, and I'll just have to find spaces to store the garbage. So for now, this works. Let's put that over there, and you can kind of see what we're going for, hopefully. Like, on the right, the stronghold. On the left, or on the right, orange line. On the left, red line. And then that way, there's like an easy way, if you're on one minecart, to see where to switch to the next one. And then we'll shift to the right just after this little bit. Kind of go diagonally a little bit. And make sure that we're, like, right near the divide, but not at the divide. So this is where the tunnel will be going straight. And I guess that's going to cause an awkward thing with where the line of orange is, because it's meant to be one unbroken line, but that'll be fine. So have that running all the way over here, and then eventually, yeah, it looks pretty cool, right? Also, you are Poly. I'm still Poly. It's just that YouTube thing again. I feel like, I do feel like it's weird that YouTube can't quite make up its mind about how it wants that stuff to be. It's like, yeah, you are going to be Poly-mush-ish, maybe. Yeah, you're definitely going to be something, that's for sure. Okay, so now we got the vibes in place, chat. Now we have to go and alter the course of the original line to tie into this. Which actually might be tricky. It might make more sense to go, like, too far to the right there. Come in over here. And then come in so that it's left running this way. Yeah, chat, I've worked it out. So, you know, okay, my problem is, all of these tunnels have this on the left. So it makes one unbroken line throughout the entire thing. But if I put this tunnel over here, it'll be on the right. You know, think about it. If the tunnel's running this way. But what if the tunnel was running this way? Yeah, that would be the solution, wouldn't it? So all I have to do is have the tunnel cut round, go through there, and then get back to the orange line. Up above this stronghold somewhere? Yeah, there's just an empty cave up here. So we could bring it up through here. We could remove this entire ceiling. Why does it need to exist? Make this part of the ramp back to where it originally is going. And then bring it in down this. If that doesn't make any sense to you, don't worry. I'll do it and we'll work on it as we go. How far are these lines going to go? Right now, they go across the original Xbox 360 size world, and they go out a little bit further on each end. So this one goes to the Catan thing, which is just outside the borders, and to the TU1 world, just outside the borders. And the orange line goes within. It goes to the big, basically my Let's Play house, and then it also goes down to the main thing. I do think that the concept of a tunnel has all sorts of drawbacks, but I also just think it's like a fun thing to have in a world, which is why we're going to do it. So yeah, the line is going to come from up here, is how I'm imagining it. So it's going to come from up here, above the red line. So it's going to we have to have a little bit of a junction going on. We're going to come from up there, go over this line, and then end up over here, and then go straight up from here. This doesn't look like it makes a lot of sense yet, but trust me, it's going to. So then up there, and then up here, and then all the way back to wherever the tunnel is up here. So we'll start with this side, because this seems like the easier side by all means that I can imagine. We're just going up to 56, I think the tunnel was at. Or we don't even need to go back up to 56, if we're being honest. But there we go. Is that the tunnel? No, it is not. So we're going up to here somewhere. Or maybe we're not, actually. This is what's going to happen there. And, yeah, I'm very excited about what is happening here, chat. I love a good bit of progress in my world, and it looks like we're about to have that. So I'm going to do something a little cheeky. I usually don't like to mix my chest this way, but I'm going to place down my dirt chest with all of my wool to make sure I don't lose it, and then I can just pick up all this garbage a little bit easier. Perfect, easy peasy. And then we're going to go up here a little bit. I'm going to assume that I've gone past my metro line, and so instead we're going to check where we are right now, 225, 247, and we're going to see where that is in relation. Do the lines have names? See, that's a fun... I do think that when it comes to like making your world feel alive, naming stuff is good, right? It's the same way people love to name their dogs. I've never legitimately named my own dogs in survival, but oh, okay, run away from her. As she comes through the door, we'll smack her. Oh, no. Ooh, she was ready with that one. I do think that... No. It's a stronghold. It's fine. It can look wrecked. Definitely an excuse to go to sleep, though. I do think that, like, naming anything major you build in your world is just, like, a fun way to add to it. But, also, you can go to sleep while poisoned. I'd have guessed that the damage would have woken you up. I'm glad that it does not. Okay, so I think it was 245, 225... is where the tunnel was at. Let's see where that ends up. Big metro map once done, says said 6. Yeah, I have a really fun idea for a metro map. I have a really fun way that I want to pull that off. So, also, what is that? Oh, it's the rendering issue, chat. We got one. We got one. Look. There should be chunks there. Also, Catan, you mean the trademark Civilization board game with hexagons? Obviously, when I'm saying Catan, I'm referring to the region of Spain, no, Italy, incorrectly. It's Catania, which, as we all know, is famous for looking kind of like a board game map. That is true. Do not trust it. Or do not question it. So here is my big tunnel as it exists right now. I am not that far from where we are previously, but I'm thinking I should just dig this straight down until it reaches the tunnel over there, and then just scrap this entire section of the line. There's no need for any of this to exist necessarily. Or if there is... Or maybe, you know, is there a need for this to exist? I'm not convinced that there is. We do have to go here regardless. And then I guess we could start going down from here. So let's start going down from here. And see where that leads us. It is, so at 2:45 is where we're going to end up. Are you going to name the subway lines after your favorite London Underground lines? Well, logically, right. If we go of the London Underground lines with the same colors, this would be the Overground and the Central line. I think I like the idea of giving them names of things in my world. So like this line goes from a stronghold to a, you know, we could maybe extend it out to the Cherry Woodland Mansion. Could be the structure line. Or the other line goes to the, you know, it's like the other line takes you to the TU1 tutorial world light, so it could be the classic line. Or, you know, we could, there's a lot of like naming systems around the world. The Singapore metro goes like very geographical, so it's like east-west rail, north-south rail. That could be a way to describe it as like a simple how do you get around the world. There's a lot of different routes we could take with it. But yeah, we're going to see where we end up this way first. So we want to get to 2:45. And then we're going to turn left and we're going to hope that this all works. I think I've made a horrible mistake in here somewhere. Oh. So here we are. This is... Oh no, this has somehow worked out. But again, right now, not actually quite perfectly. Because we're coming in a bit too strong from this side. So we kind of need to actually rotate that way. And then build this exact same tunnel. But if we did that, then we wouldn't come in at just the right height that we need to. Except, actually, we probably would. So let's close this off. Let's imagine we didn't build this. Or we could even just, like... Yeah, let's close this off. Let's just imagine this doesn't exist for a minute. We'll also do the same up there. Just place a block there and there. Make it easy to ignore. And then, let's imagine that we go... straight to the left over here. It'll have to be really clearly signposted so that when you're going down these stairs, you don't accidentally get lost on the metro line. Or maybe we should just bring the metro line down underneath the staircase. There's no particular reason for the staircase to intercept the metro line as it exists right now, right? So we could just bring that down. We could just bring this down the moment we get over this gap. Because this is where it needs to be high. So we could bring it down right here. Or we could bring it down over the gap, actually. That would look kind of cool, I think. So we'll bring this down here. Place a bunch more blocks of the... Although, let's go down another block. Place this over there. And then let's bring it down an extra block there. And then it's kind of like a bridge over a gap. I love bridges. Who doesn't love a bridge? And then let's bring it down a few more blocks. But again, kind of gradually over time. And then we can have a staircase that goes directly above us rather than whatever we've got right now, which is confusing and concerning. Also, I like the sound of the classic line. Yeah, I feel like the classic line is a good one too because it goes all the way across the classic-sized world. But yeah, I think I do feel like, you know, this is what they do with real-life transportation projects. You gotta open it before you give it, or at least be pretty close to opening before you give it, like, a proper name. Because otherwise, you know, like, you know, what if during the construction process we decide drastically differently? Should that change how that works? This is a confusing part of the world. That is factually accurate, that's for sure. Okay, so... Yeah, this is... Okay, now we can leave that over there. I think I'd rather have it be a staircase, but for now... It perfectly works looking like that. We could put up some glass or some fences or something later. Oh, if we put up fences, it'll be like a railway crossing, but more confusing. So now we dig under here. Then we break a block upwards. We're in the right place. And just like that, we've done some tunneling, chat. Yeah, we did it. Thought we couldn't, but yet we did it anyway. Then we'll dig down here. And slowly make this up-ground part make some sense. I'm so confused, Dasher. You should be confused. But yeah, I'm glad you are doing... I would say I'm glad you're doing good today, Polly. But I'm glad you're doing terribly today. Because if you think about it, as bad as you feel today, confirms that you're not going to feel this bad. You know, all your other days will feel less bad by comparison. which sucks when you're in one of those few times where every day is worse than the last. But statistically, this could be your worst day possible. Also, yeah, Xavier says, I can't even decide on mine. Chantal, do you have a favorite tube line or station? They should name it the Railway. You should name it Railway McRailway Face. Honestly, you know, it's always possible to have one line that we name very seriously and one line that gets a name from a public vote. I think that Railway McRailway Face is the ideal name for a railway. But, you know, the fact that the TFL people disagree with me certainly is a shame. So now we'll go down 2 blocks at a time, just because it makes the, you know, the powered rail placement a bit easier. 2 blocks at a time. We're going to eventually hit a big wall where we can't go any further. So we'll make sure to do that with this. And we want to stay at least 2 blocks away from that wall. This is the wall. So we place that block there with a torch, because why not? And we want to make sure we go down over here. So this is the point we're turning right. Can we get another block downwards? I would say we can. But there we go, chat. Okay, now if we go down there, we should hit the other line perfectly, I hope, and be in a real good position. I agree, perfect name. Exactly, there's no issues with that name. Just burned everything I owned using beds to find netherite. But that's okay, because the netherite looked sour anyway. It's I'm glad that you're not having sour netherite, and it actually was just you know, like netherite that particularly looked sour, because otherwise that would be embarrassing, huh? Drain a chunk of your world's most precious materials, particularly remote spots you don't care about, to decorate the metro. It's what the USSR did. Subway metro tube. Yeah, it's a funny thing. You probably... I should come up with a name for the system, right? I have the sky rail. What's the opposite of the sky rail? The ground rail? Underground rail? I mean, ground rail does make more sense, but ground rail kind of implies it's at the surface. So cave rail? Yeah, cave rail sounds good to me. Cave train? This is a cave train line going to... So we need to, by the way, dig this further out. Easy peasy. This is a cave rail train going to, at all stations on the classic line. But yeah, I think naming some stations and then making a map from it later would be pretty cool. That's my vision here, if we can pull that off. So this cave brings me way up here, which means we've got plenty of space to do what we're trying to do, which is what I would love to be able to say. So place all of these blocks. These later, I'm going to have to replace them with tough bricks later, but that's fine. Bring that down. Or maybe we could just place the tough bricks on top. We'll work it out. But bring it all down. Go through there. We're just using the stone as a way to mark what will be tough bricks later. Go down some more, and some more. And then go down some more over here. And eventually... Okay, so we're here now, chat. But, obviously, we can't have the rail run at the same level as this one, or there'll be a problem. So instead we need to have a bridge that goes over it. So, where we would reach the level that we'd keep going down, we'll instead have a bunch of stone going up above it. So, through this big pile of dirt. And then, so just, I have to torch this cave up very thoroughly. And then, a single one of these can show what will happen. Also, howdy, can't stay for too long, but wanted to pop in. Carolina Cyclone James, crazy. Again, thank you for popping in and for saying hi, and for reminding me just how long, you know, you've been around. There's also, I like the sound of subway metro tube. There's something about it. Yeah, subway metro tube underground. I guess subway metro tube is New York, Russia, or New York, Moscow, London, perfectly mixed. Which is you know, it's a good way to get some big cities combined, right? Also, so I'm gonna now call that the edge of the bridge, and then we have to rapidly go down, like not like these other ones, like literally like this. And there we go. Okay, chat, I have now imagined fairly successfully here the first half of how this will look. No, I have not. I've broken one of my blocks. So let me place that back there. There we go, yeah. So we've got the perfect dugout for it. Everything works, everything's good. This is, and by doing it this way, okay, look at this, right? So this red line stays on the right, as we mentioned already. I'm gonna have to dump this stone somewhere. I have no idea where. Shall I just use this chest? I'll just use this chest for now. It's bad habit keeping, but it's on me for some reason anyway. So put all the stone in there. And now come look at this. So on the right side here, on the left side here, I've got this train doing this train things. But then on the left side here, I can have the... Again, in my mind, this is a revolution, chat. I solved a problem only I had invented, but I'm still pleased with the solution. If I run an orange line on the left here, then it will slowly run, as you can see, through the left here, around this corner, which probably shouldn't be such a harsh corner, actually. Let's remove that there and just make everything a little bit less harsh. And then that goes there. Except that kind of ruins what happens here. So that goes there. And then I guess this goes down there. It's down and cornering at the same time now, which isn't perfectly ideal, but it's fine. And then we come down through here, etc., etc. And eventually, that brings us over on the left side here, still following it, where you can get this perfect orange line that I was aiming for the entire time. Boom. And then there's now a transfer between the orange and the red. Isn't that beautiful? Zachary2Player says, love the video. I'm glad you do. When we say Metro, we're definitely talking about Montreal. I can't believe you'd slander the biggest city in Europe that way, Chantel. I actually learned, like I'd known it for a while, and I think even Dasher has been on the stream saying it. But you know, when someone from a city, when someone says something that like bigs up their own stuff, like if someone says I'm the tallest man in the world, way less likely to believe them than if someone goes, this is the tallest man in the world, and I'll be like, wow. Unless the person is their friend, in which case I'd believe it even less. But anyway, I feel like the same level of that bias is so Dasher said like, oh yeah, Moscow's got 20 million people in the metro area, and I'm like, every city can fudge the metro area data. But I saw that it was like, even by like conservative estimates, like the biggest city in real Europe. And I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of a sign of like what was lost by Russia, what Russia could have been, right? It's like if in the 90s it like hyper liberalized, you know, financial markets and blah 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 blah. It could be like, oh yeah, Moscow. In the same way, like there's just a billion flights that go to London just because there's some form of trading happening there for who even knows what. Could hypothetically be the same for like, you know, Moscow today. You know, like in the same way like Tokyo or Singapore exist, it could be like, oh yeah, one of the big 10 global, or Sydney I think is maybe a good example too. Also, I can't believe you're making a subway when the Boring Co tunnels under Vegas are an option. Honestly, Dan Marsh, how do you feel about the Boring Tunnel company, the Boring Company tunnels in Vegas? I think they are so interesting. It's been a while since I last donated or joined the stream. My feed randomly decided to stop showing your lives. Hopefully it's now fixed. I mean, if I'm being as self, you know, like if I'm being as negative to myself as I can be for the sake of accuracy here, maybe it's a sign that YouTube's like, yeah, when you're in these streams, you end your session afterwards. You're not that invested in it. You think you are, you start, and then you start doing something else. So maybe YouTube just decided, wow, clearly not enjoying these streams. Maybe you should stop watching them. It's my best guess. Went from yay Russia big to oh so quick. But it is like you know, like I wonder if that is like that was an achievable position someone could have gone for, or if it's like, oh yeah, that is the pipe dream that many people, you know, imagined that actually, you know, I don't know, like it's the hardest thing about like you know, geopolitical events, like the changing of the world, if you're looking back, it's so obvious sometimes, but like without when you're in the moment without control data, you don't know. Like I I don't know. Let's pick some real, like, simple stuff, right? Like, crime is the hardest one on this one. Because every time you punish a criminal, you're doing unfair, you know, like, you're not making the world any better. You're just making the world worse. And hoping that because the world is worse for the criminal, they choose not to do crimes anymore. Right? And, but you don't have the data that shows, well, maybe if the punishment was harsher, maybe they'd have never committed the crime at all. Or maybe you have the data that says no matter what the punishment was, they were always going to do this. So what's the point of punishing them besides, you know, like, making someone feel pain isn't an end in its own right, is what I'm trying to say. And so it makes me wonder also, this tunnel definitely needs to go at some point. But I'm guessing by the fact that this is parallel with that we should move this tunnel, like, to the left as soon as possible. Right now, it goes all the way here. But we should maybe not even let it go up first. We should come, like... Yeah, I don't know, actually. I kind of want this, like, sideways parallel stretch of track. So I'm going to let that exist. And then just immediately go up. Dan says, I think the boring I think the boring code tunnels are stupid as they exist right now, but there's potential for it to be cool eventually. Yeah, I feel like that is the... Honestly, I think that's how the world works now. I think the world... The only way that, you know, like... I think that it's really important to make big, inspiring things that kind of are stupid, but show that you can do the concept. So that you can get investor money to show you can... Like, at least I think, unless you are independently wealthy, which, to be fair, nowadays, the person behind the boring company is. So I don't quite understand it on that level. But so much of what companies do that seems like it's like, but wouldn't that be silly? Is because it inspires a vision that more people can get down with. The data shows that the certainty of punishment prevents recidivism much more than the severity of punishment. Yeah, the likelihood of being caught is way more important than what happens when you're caught. Because if it's a 1% chance of the death penalty, I feel like we're natural gamblers, we'll roll those dice and then really regret it when it eventually turns out the other way. But we're kind of natural gamblers in that weird way. Oh, if there is a really good upside, 1% downside kind of rounds down to 0% downside. Which is a negative trait, you could probably argue. I think I want to be on the right side of this, just to make sure that I can see the other tunnel when I cross into it. Okay, so there's a chance I dig into lava right now, chat. I'm going to be very prepared for that. But right now we're at 56. Where is the other tunnel? I should be right next to it somewhere. Oh, it's here? That's confusing. That doesn't match what I was expecting at all. But yeah, we want to be up here quick enough to not have to deal with that. But that is a problem, I would say. So I solved my problem, chat, and now I've just created a new one. So what I would actually say is the solution here is it's not a fun solution, but it's just to dig a whole new tunnel. Because if you follow this tunnel down long enough, if you go all the way to the end, eventually we just go down anyway, only by a few blocks here. But we do still go down. And so if the tunnel's going down anyway, maybe we should just, like, not go back up. We should see when it next goes down. Because maybe we could cut this whole segment out. So yeah, chat, if you've never seen where this line goes, it goes all the way to my stronghold. It's a big, long, strong tunnel. But if I just keep it at Y50, then I don't need to do any of this. And I can just dig a whole new tunnel. So I'll start by mining out this forwards here. And then once I get to the end of this, I'll go down there. How do I play your Let's Play World? Wow, thank you, Connor Lamarche. Great question. You press this wonderful button that's on your Minecraft pause screen all the time that people love so much, and then instead of browsing add-ons like they want you to do, if you'd like to download it, there is a public copy from like 2018, but if you want to get the latest copy that gets updates and has the music disc quest and everything, that is what you can do by typing in Let's Play. I don't think Let's Play will get you there, but type in Toycat's Let's Play World, and then, oh, we're here. And as you might find very shortly, there is an update that you'll find available. It has a 4.8 star rating. It comes with free skins, and by that I mean you can download these regardless of whether you download the map. This is quite a famous skin for someone in chat. But yeah, interestingly, so it still says 8 years, but that is going to change, by the way. Except it's changing to 12 years because it was before the anniversary, because it takes a long time to update things. Anyway, this update is coming out soon, but if you download the Let's Play World now, you get all the updates forever. including with all my new metro lines that I'm building today. Isn't that fun? Okay, so yeah, we're gonna bring this tunnel down here and then make it connect. Your world is on my wish list. Thank you for putting my world on your wish list. I think I actually, there is a stat that they track for that is good. And so thank you for giving me a good stat. Okay, so this is where we're going to dig instead now. And we're going to try and connect this to the other tunnel. And we're just going to say, yeah, all of this extra space here is going to waste. It's not that fun, but it's fine. Also, yeah, that's where I got the gravel toy cat skin from. Did you forget Dasher? Dasher, we're turning it into a sales pitch. You get to be Dasher's skin. We've reached a deal after hard negotiations, but Dasher has agreed to license her skin for the Let's Play world, and you can get it for free even right now. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. That's marketing. I have brought your world. And then you get the update when it comes out super shortly. It's stuck in certification right now. So we want to go over to, just to be clear, 229 on the X, and then 56, but not actually. 229X, whatever Y level we're at is fine. So 229, I think I just said. Also, hello chat and Toycat. I just came here. What happened to skygloo? What happened to skygloo indeed? No, I feel like skygloo is like every single episode. I need to make sure I just have the time to give it. I can't just be like, and now we're done here. I mean, that's what we did, I guess. But it's a long series. I want to make sure we get it right. So 1, 2, 3, and then I go down a 4th block. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but we'll do it anyway. And we'll go all the way to 229, but gradually. Should we have it be like a slow bend, like 1 block here, and then after a few blocks, 1 block here? I think we should do it this way. Because why not, right? And then 1 block here, and then 1 block here. And the tunnel's long enough that by doing it even quite gradually, we'll eventually get there. And then we can widen it, we can place our orange track, and you can see everything be good. Your hatred for the gravel shaped my playstyle when I was younger to the point where I still audibly groan when I find gravel. Stay very, I love that. I am amazed. You know, it's that thing that KMB was saying earlier, that like, yeah, Minecraft is a classic game for some. It is still kind of like hard for me to internalize that is true. But thank you for bringing me along for your classic game memories. Okay, so we're almost at 229 now. Hopefully we haven't gone too far. Yeah, we've got plenty of distance left to go. And then we'll just tunnel along at this level. And it will connect to the other tunnel. And then this way, actually, it's a more efficient minecart track. Because it goes up and down fewer hills. Which, to be fair, like, up and down hills isn't bad in its own right. It's just, like, unnecessary, you know, complexity. Everyone loves a long, flat tunnel, right? Maybe. Actually, when it comes to, like, an underground tunnel, do you want it to be long and flat, chat? Or is that actively undesirable? I genuinely do not know. So we'll start over here. And then we'll have to mine all the way through there. And the entire time that we do it, we can have these orange blocks coming through here. So remove that, orange block. Remove this, orange block. It's all going to be good. So can I watch this video again after it's done streaming? You usually can. I can't imagine why this stream would be different. I haven't said anything wildly controversial yet. But yeah, the hardest thing about like country decisions about like, it's the same for like big businesses, is you don't have control data. In the real world, it's really easy to control for variables and then be like, well, we should not do this because you know, you can work out exactly what it is that causes good versus bad. But when it comes to like countries, it's really, really hard to work out like, you know, if we had done that, would we be in a better place? And therefore, if we do this, will we be in a good place? Is there a 100% positive, you know, correlation / causation between, I don't know, like having access to free trade and good things? Or is it actually just that all the countries that, you know, like that have liberal policies benefit from, you know, being loved by big world powers? And, you know, therefore, can you have the one part without the second part? It's really, really hard to work out in the end. Morrowind is a classic game, Oblivion is childhood, and Skyrim is in between nostalgia and current times. It's crazy to think people must be nostalgic about Skyrim, even though it's still the most recent game. Also, Polly E says, I've been to an MRI today, so I feel like my day is just tunnels. An MRI machine, every time I think an MRI machine, I have to mention this, MRIs are so ludicrously expensive that every time I hear that you can, get one, you just, if you need one, it's like, wow. Someone thinks my health is worth spending, what does the machine cost? Like $1 million? Imagine if a doctor said, you know what, you can use the Lamborghini today. We think it would cure your depression. I'd be mind blown. Honestly, maybe it would. Maybe a Lamborghini would solve a lot of problems. Speaking of solving a lot of problems with transportation, Stayberry, thank you for becoming a channel member on this beautiful day you find yourself on. I hope you enjoy all of the fun little members benefits. Seemingly for a lot of people right now, it's the members only Let's Plays, but hopefully you'll like all the other stuff you get with it too. I've got an MRI next month. Yeah. Oh, that's exciting, Kat. Again, we have looked at we've looked at the data and said, yeah, we should clearly, you are worth the big fancy £1 million machine. I think that's cool. I mean, I get because if you want to use any other £1 million machine, I got into an A380, and what does that cost? Like several hundred, $250 million, and they charge you hundreds of pounds to even go in that, even though they're going wherever they're going anyway. It's crazy. So yeah, I think I should put some fences here. I don't know what the fences should be made out of, but they definitely should be maybe this isn't an insane situation to use the shelf in, right? Put a shelf over here, and then over there. Is that insane, chat? Look at my little fence. I could do it for now anyway, and then change my mind later. Also, I think if I'm gonna make this make sense, this block here should be there instead. And then we should just remove this. Technically speaking. Yeah, it looks weird, but it's Minecraft, everything looks weird. I'll probably change my mind at some point. But as a right now thing, I like it. Stone wall seems thematic. But I like the idea of it being like a railway thing where you could throw things off the edge if you wanted to. I like that idea a lot. So I'm mainly joining because of the members-only Let's Plays. They keep showing up my feed, and I hate that I can't watch them. I hate that they are showing up in people's feeds. A lot of so it's fun, actually. I had a big debate with a couple of YouTubers about this recently. About half of YouTubers say, because YouTube is showing member-only videos to non-members, I don't think I can, have those anymore. And the the other half are every YouTuber who turns these off, you're making a luxury decision, and maybe it's the right decision, and that's really good if it is. But it is kind of oh, YouTube is showing my stuff too much, so now I'd better stop selling the stuff that I'm trying to, now I'd better stop having the things that I want people to. It's kind of complicated in that way. I guess I should ideally have them be more obviously saleable things. MRI stands for Most Remote Island. Can't believe they send people there on the pretense of health concerns. They're sending people to Svalbard just because of the because they've got the health conditions dash up. Sounds terrible. I guess actually they'd send them to what's that one, the Antarctic, the southern McDonald Island, I think it is in the Southern Ocean somewhere. Also, YT wants me to watch them, but doesn't let me watch them. I mean, YouTube is... So here's the thing, right? YouTube takes a 30% cut on channel memberships, and they get to take it in perpetuity. So they're actually quite happy if you become a member, because it's whatever it is. If it's $5, that's $1.50 for them. So I'm guessing they're making the gamble that if enough people see it, then they'll make that subscription. But to me, it feels maybe that is a logical bet for YouTube. I would have guessed. I mean, yeah, I guess it's effectively here is a paywall where YouTube gets paid $1.50 versus if you watch a normal video, they don't. But that's why I kind of see it as an individual. It's well, therefore my options aren't really, make the video or not. Because if I don't make any members only videos, then they're just going to show you other channels' members-only videos. If they're desperate to get you to, watch one so that you become a member. And I would like, If it's not too selfish, I'd like for you to be a channel member of me, chat. That's what I would really like. Okay, so now let's tunnel through here. I'm going to do as much digging with my shovel as I can, because it makes it easier for future me, but also gets current me some dirt, which current me absolutely loves. And there we go. Big old progress made in a place. Now we'll dig on the right here. I am going to need a lot more wool than I actually have, but I still like knowing that we've made some progress on this one. So have that go all the way there. And then we'll follow it back on the other side now. And that will be good. Maybe not. The thing is, I think it's that Norwegian island. Yeah, I guess it depends by what you mean by most remote, I guess. Because remote could mean like... Also, do I want my orange to be poking out here? Probably not. So I'll place a stone block back there and then just... Yeah. It's technically... Yeah, it's a little messy to do it this way, but it's fine. And then place a block here. That's kind of visible, but it's fine, I guess. And then down there. But yeah, I think if you go by like fewest people living there, there's a ton of islands of no people. So you can't use that as a metric. You could go by furthest away from the majority of the world population, but the majority of the world population live in China and India, and so you could make a decent case that I don't even know what that'd be like. Maybe the what's a fun but obviously not remote island. Hawaii might be the most remote island, but it's obviously not. Like for ancient humans, probably to some extent it was, but current humans not that remote, not that unconnected at all. Remember your video on how to glitch out of the Never Bedrock on console edition? It was helpful, but I just used a bow. I'm glad you found a better way. Clearly I was stupid for doing it the way I did it. I remember console edition glitches were such a weird, fun world. I'm glad you liked them. So you can't use poppies as a dye by themselves. Useful to know. We're going to make them into red first, and then we'll make that into red dye just to move things along. Okay, so... This red dye has to keep moving there. Just right through. We'll obviously have the tunnel stop. I kind of like the idea of it doing a sick jump here, chat. I like the idea of, like, the minecart having to, like, bounce up. But right now, minecarts on Bedrock just can't do that. As best I can tell, there's no way to make an easy, guaranteed jump through a gap. Like, Bedrock physics just aren't good for this stuff. I don't make members only videos. I care if I care enough, and I can't see it, I'll pay extra for the membership. I just see it as optional extra content. Yeah, especially, like, I think for a channel that uploads more members videos than regular videos, I can see where that might start to, like, bug some people. But when it literally is, like, oh yeah, this is a fun type of video that we cannot make public without hurting our channel. Here's a way to watch it if you want to. It's once a week, or not even every week, but it's once most weeks these days. I'm enjoying the series a lot. But, like, yeah, I don't think that's particularly harmful. But I think there is always an aspect of, like, if you never intended to pay, then it's like, oh, and now everything is worse for me. And that is kind of tricky, but also is, I don't know. It's why it's, like, an easy opinion to miss. So... Because, you know, like, it's in the what do you want to call it, the free market, in the world of you know, when it comes to voting with your feet, it's really hard to, you know, the best way to vote with your feet is to just not buy stuff, but a lot of people don't feel like that is enough, and so they vote with their mouths as well as their feet. But, you know, whether the mouth or foot is more successful is something worth debating. By the way, what has happened over here, chat? Has anyone ever seen this before? Is this a deep dark biome I've accidentally come in contact with? Very, very weird, but I'll just keep on roaming through it and pretend that I have no idea what it is, because I don't. So easy peasy. Keep it moving. Keep it orange. Oh, so it's changing as we mine each block. That is weird. That is very weird. Toy Cat, where are the stops going to be? Says British Skitty. So right now, I only have, I think, like 5 different stops. So This is actually a funny line if you think about it. So This line that I'm in right now, the orange line, again, name TBC, but the orange line, the more subsurface line of the two, this line goes, the middle stop is right here, my old stronghold, my classic stronghold, also my skeleton farm. So my skeleton farm's going to have incredible connectivity. If I ever need to get bones, this is the place to be. I bet it has been growing a bunch of bones. No, I'm not that close to it, I guess. But my skeleton farm is going to be amazingly connected now. If I can even remember how I get into this place. Is it via this door here, maybe? No, this takes me to here. Okay, here we go. So, I should make like a big bone path to connect it. This is my barrel full of not very much use, clearly. Wait, why are the... Isn't there meant to be a hopper around here somewhere? Anyway, this is my... No, yeah, there is meant to be a hopper around here somewhere. But apparently I don't have one. Maybe I don't have a hopper. I just manually do it and I store the bones in here. Okay, so this is my skeleton farm. It's going to be a lot better connected all of a sudden if I can work out what's happening there. This is the middle point on both of the lines. And so the red line goes out there towards my generic hexagon board game. It goes that way towards my Let's Play World house. The sky rail system, where it's you know, got a beautiful little big salmon. Although again, instead of calling it, I think that's a station I want to call Big Salmon, and so I like the idea of coming up with names for these places. So if this is the old stronghold, would it be Old Hold? Yeah, Old Hold, right? So this is Old Hold Station. That's generic hexagon station. As we go further west, we get to the desert. So we get Desert Station. And then we get the, you know, like Mince Rat Station over there or whatever. And I think that as... and then this line goes all the way north to my big cubes. What do you want to call a big cube station, chat? That's the question. Also, I apologize for the mistake that is my name, says Dasha! Big Salmon Energy. Big Salmon Energy is a much cooler name for a station. Oh no, this isn't... Not my intention at all. But yeah, if you want... what we could technically do if we wanted to, get really fancy here, rather than having two tracks run side by side, is we could have used the same tracks and just used a series of... yeah, we used like detector rails. We could have made it so this track was able to go there. Except no, we wouldn't have been able to. Because it'd get trapped on the other side. You'd have to have two signals. One would be delayed. So you could switch the track here and then switch the track over here to come off it. But that would be a nightmare, and it wouldn't really save much effort. And it would also make it harder to just start your minecart journey from the station. Old Hull, Desert, Big Salmon Energy, Cubes Cubed. Ooh, Cubes Cubed is fun, because there's 3 of them, actually. I mean, it kind of limits the growth of that, doesn't it? Considering it's near your destroyed chunk, you could call it Toy Cat's Big Hole. That's a good point, actually. Old Hole or Toy Cat's Big Hole? There's a lot of good... consideration we've got to have here. But yeah, if we run this way, just in case you want to see it, there should be minecart tracks, but right now there are not. Again, it's I think I was iron poor until fairly recently in my world. But I've got my big old rail, and this takes me to Big Salmon Energy. I do love some Big Salmon Energy, don't get me wrong. So yeah, is this a stop technically? I would argue this is just a feature where it breaks through the world. But you know, it's still something. So this is not a station stop, but instead the station stop is right here. We're gonna have to work out what the platforms look like. Like maybe we take some of this. Like, is this a platform, you know? I don't know. Maybe we just have some slabs or something really simple like that. We're going to have some form of design that makes it clear where the stations are. That seems like a good idea to me. And this is Big Salmon / Big Salmon Energy. Name in progress. I think it's my most beautiful station. I think that just by accidentally deciding to make the entrance fun, it kind of makes the rest of the entrances seem like they could be fun. And I like that idea a lot. I like the multi-edition thing, Big Salmon. Oh, you're breaking my heart by reminding me that Java players also have Big Salmon now. Can't believe you do that to me. But yeah, I also like the idea of so there's two separate lines and their identities kind of are like the red wool. Maybe the identities are the wool, the colors that you'll see throughout them. I kind of like the idea of having a different identity in terms of the blocks. So this one, I think tough bricks. It's just like a fun use for tough bricks, but also it makes it feel kind of like different and more like constructed. Whereas, so we're going to replace all of this. I can start tunneling it to prove that point. But we're going to replace all of this slowly with tough bricks. And then I'm thinking on the other line, we could either specifically keep stone. Or we could do like stone with like something else running through it. It's tricky to say. Also, hi, been a while, says Sarah Skin Review. Hello, Sarah Skin Review. Great to see you. Also, I think you might have missed my suggestion earlier, or you didn't like it, but I suggest your cart system should be the Toy Catacomb. Ooh, the Toy Catacomb. I like that, although there is the slight implication that I am dead. But, besides that, I'm down with it. You know, like, am I even not dead? Like, are we not all a little bit dead inside? So as a result, maybe that is a good name. But thank you, Polly. I did miss it earlier. Best station, 100%. Yeah, I think it's the most important station too, because it's the one that we start right next to. Tough Brick feels very Subway. I know what you mean. Maybe the stupid way to combine the fact that, like, is it a subway? Is it a metro? Is it an underground? Maybe the red line is the subway line. Maybe the orange line is the underground line, and then we'll make a new one that can be the metro line, you know? Also, ToyTube. ToyTube is when I either start my own YouTube competitor, or when I, you know, when times get hard and I have to start selling my body to survive. It's one of those two things. Also, what is this line going to be called, says 2Java. So far we're thinking the classic line. I like that idea quite a bit. I'll have to concede. But yeah, there's plenty of ideas that go beyond that. So I'm now going to make a lot more orange wool, and we're going to commit to the orange. Also, I probably should commit to removing some of the stronghold. It feels a little bit like vandalism, doesn't it, chat? You know what I mean? It feels a little bit like I shouldn't be destroying it. Because this is such a classic structure. Also, this is meant to be my way to guide me to my skeleton room. Oh, it is. It's a very good way. It's a shame I didn't pay any attention. You could use quartz. Oh, quartz would be so expensive. Like, quartz is a very tricky ingredient to get in large quantities outside of piglin trading. But then you need a gold farm, and then you've got yourself worn out before you even started. If you have the classic Coke line, you should have the new Coke line. So the classic line and then the new line, I guess, is the Toy Cat version. New Cat line. New Cat City sounds like a good place to be. So full stack of dandelions, full stack of poppies. That makes a full double stack of oranges. And then that's 2 full stacks of wool. Plus what we've got already. So gonna be pretty good, I think. Also, yeah, we'll put just the last few stacks of... Well, we'll just put the wool in there for now. And then we'll pick up the chest. Oh, yeah, it was the other it was my other shulker box I was using for storing all that garbage. And now let's head back towards the house, because as soon as I get to the house, I can dump my stone. And that'll be good. Let's play Subway. Oh, see, there's so many good names. And by making sure we don't lock in now, we'll make sure we get a good one, chat. We'll make sure we get the best one. This video is off to a good start. I wonder what your favorite color is, says Zachary2Player. Oh, great question. What's your favorite color is the really important question. I'm going to leave this darkness here. Deliberately just jump right past it. And instead start removing these blocks. And then we'll come back through and orange wool them. The orange line is going places today, chat. It's going some serious places today. I do need to work out how it is that we want to have powered rails on this stretch. On the sky rail, what I do is I just kind of zig off to the side. But I might need to specifically, like, make the tunnel go a bit wider. Or, like, zig and zag a bit more than I want to. Plow through the stronghold. There are more strongholds, but only one Toy Cat Metro. Pickled Witch, you understand exactly. Honestly, I've been thinking for a while. One of the... a fact I learned recently. It's one of those, like, how do you get people to seriously consider something? You just say the same idea, but, like, then say it with a Chinese or Japanese name or whatever. But there's this concept in like Japanese building. If something burns down and you have to like rebuild it, instead of rebuilding it perfectly, you can use modern materials because it's not the materials that matter. It's not, you know, like, have you ever been to like the Colosseum? They've preserved the same bricks that they built it with. So preserving that like original exact thing is important, even if it's derelict. Whereas some people would say the best way to preserve something, like when there's an old cinema that you know, like you see, it's important to preserve the cinema by making it an entertainment venue. So an old cinema I recently went to was actually what would you call it? Like a music venue, like a gig hall. And actually I really liked that. I thought that was kind of cool. That you could take such an old purpose and make it into a new one. And so I feel like you could argue that you're doing that all the time in this world. That like, yeah, the stronghold isn't enjoyable as a stronghold, but it might be enjoyable as a metro interchange. I would also, the internet is full circle. I love watching cat videos, which is why the internet was created in the first place. Hey, Chilius Bean, you're right. Saw your comment today, by the way, Chilius Bean. Appreciated it. I do have, I don't know, I do get one of the more, I love seeing normal comments from normal people whenever I see a bunch of insane ones. It's like a nice reminder, like, oh yeah, most people are normal. That's, and I'm glad that you're normal too. But yeah, Chilius Bean, how do you read a book and watch the stream at the same time? If you don't mind me asking. I think it depends on the structure. Sometimes it's important. It's the original. Concrete Stonehenge would be terrible. I genuinely don't know that I agree though. I mean, like, obviously on some level. Where are we right now? Oh, we're straight under here. Oh, that's fascinating, huh? So that's going to really limit me in the future. That's going to massively limit me. I could make this glass. That'd be kind of cool. So I'll think about what to do with that as we replace this later. But for now, the orange must come through anyway. Yeah, this is... I see how I got kind of lazy with it if we're going underneath the river. Ooh, yeah. So just right through there, and then we still need to place a block over there. You have to be really quick to not have a block fall on top of it. But I guess the falling is inevitable. So let's just let it. And then through here, and then through here, and just through the entire thing as fast as we can. And then we'll come back with some glass maybe to make the design I was just saying happen. It might look kind of cool, and so isn't it worth doing? Imagine the pyramids rebuilt in red bricks. I think that's actually kind of awesome though, right? Like, I think that in a way, it'd be more awesome in a different place. Like, if you rebuilt the pyramids from red bricks in London, or, you know, like, within the surrounding areas, or, you know, like, in Manchester or Leeds or something, it'd be cool. I guess you'd be offended if you took away the original pyramids to do that. But also, I feel like there has to be some amount of, like, admission that, yeah, eventually everything will go. And so it's important we keep the best bits off it in its future. Okay, also water. Thank you very much for your contribution, Akash Warrior. The comment section of Toy Cat videos is a strange place. It sometimes is. Some of the comments on your recent political Toy Cat video was something. Yeah. So there's someone it's really fun actually. You know, it's like I don't know, like there is a little community sometimes, people there. And one of the people, you know, Dasher. I've got an evil Dasher. There's a Russian who comments on the Toy Cat videos, and every single one of their comments is, you know, I feel like Dasher, without being too prescriptive of you, I feel like you like to bring more care, love, and joy into the world. I think I have an evil Dasher. There's a Russian, there's a Russian who comments the most rage baity thing possible, but they seem full-heartedly believing of it. And so every comment section, all they bring is chaos. They are there every time there's a video to make sure that the mandatory amount of chaos is brought. And I think that's like it's a fun thing I've only like properly realized recently. It's like, oh yeah, they've been saying crazy stuff long enough they believe it, or they have you know, they've been believing it the entire time, and they've just, you know, they've recently come to realize how much fun it is when other people learn what they believe. Anyway, speaking of what I believe, I physically shook my head at your agreement with red brick pyramids. Whoa, red brick pyramids would be awesome. Okay, you're wrong. Incorrect opinion. Correct opinion is red brick pyramids all the way. Red brick pyramids, red brick pyramids, red brick all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on a red brick pyramid. Yay. Way. Yeah, the red brick pyramid is objectively the way to do it. See, I have to consider that if I make this big orange line, it's going to make this ravine look confusing from underneath. Oh, I must have built this tunnel around it. Yeah, that means I'm definitely not removing the stone for a lot of this for sure. Evil Toy Cat when? Evil Toy Cat be like... you know, one of my favorite things I saw recently is the evil mob vote. Chat, I need to find this and share this with you. Let me share. Minecraft is doing an evil mob vote recently. Okay, so how do I find? Okay, tools results last month. Okay, so I gotta find this. Okay, so this isn't what I was meaning, but you know, first of all, chat, evil mob vote could mean this. Man, I hate sometimes there's so much stuff on the internet, it's hard to find what you're looking for. So first of all, evil mob vote, right? Haha. But okay, no, I swear to God, like, anyway, Minecraft are doing a survey on their website now, asking what features are more important to you to help you work out if you care about Java or Bedrock more. But the way they word it is like they are doing an evil mob vote. It's like, oh yeah, now people hated when we added something new to the game every year. So now how about mob? You know, it's a vote to remove a feature. I actually think that'd be a fun idea. I think that I would get down with that idea quite a bit. Also, your name being so long is kind of annoying, says Dad. Oh, it says official CCC. Also, it's official CC 2510. Your name could be at least 6 characters shorter. I'm just saying, you know, people in glass houses and throwing stones and all that. Okay, so now let's jump out here. It's weird that that appears where that does. Let's go to bed, and let's, in the morning, keep on working and expanding this. So, yeah, if Minecraft is adding a new hostile mob, it should be Man, Bear, Pig. See, I feel like Man, Bear, Pig would have been a funny joke. I'm surprised. You know, back in the early days, they could have done it. Nowadays, I think it's very hard. You know, if you think about it this way, most of the Minecraft devs now, with Jeb being the only exception, and you know, also, what are you all doing up here? As soon as these guys turn to statues, I'm so done with them, chat. I'm just reminding you about that now. Their existence is very tenuous. The only reason I haven't killed them is because I know they will kill themselves. But yeah, put this all back in there. Put away some coal and some gravel. My gravel supply is always a bit too high. Oh no, I used a bunch of it recently. I made some concrete, which is good. And then put my ores away. And yeah, I think that's pretty good. I need a safer username. It's literally just my name, says Ellis Flowers. Oh, you ruined it. You should have just said, yeah, my username. You know, crazy fat guys, but my username is named after the fact that I love flowers. My real last name is Stagvaccio, but I'm glad no one knows that. Although, you know, you don't say the second bit. Or you do say the second bit. Throw people off. No one knows what to expect of you, huh? But now we all know Ellis Flowers. Nah, I think your full name, unless it's a really distinctive one, isn't that identifying anymore. It'll really help if someone has a grudge against you and is trying. Like if I'm a CIA agent, I'm finding you Ellis Flowers and I'm reporting you for what you did in Minecraft last week. But if you haven't upset, or not even a CIA agent, like if you're just someone, you know, there's a lot of people on the internet who will be a bit weird of you if you. But even then, it's only if you aggrieve them in some way, usually. So let's make some more fireworks, by the way. 24 of them should bring me up to a nice full stack. And we'll get back to making our tunnel some better. Also, yeah, so if you want to see where this orange line currently goes, chat, it's all the way from the giant hole, or the old hold. It then goes underwater here, next to the sugarcane farm. This is definitely going to be a station exit. You can, like, it's basically already one, right? We've already got the blocks laid out here. So I'm thinking this one would be cool if it's like a giant piece of sugarcane coming out of the ground. Diagonally. That might be tricky to pull off. But I'm definitely thinking do something with this. So this would be a cool one to make for that way. I miss Black One-Legged Steve, says Games Rocks 1809. Wow. Did you know the creative world is still... I still use it. I think I play creative less than I play survival by a factor of like 5 or 6. But I still play a lot of that world. And yeah, you'll see it in the videos, I believe. My real name is Andrew, but no one believes me because it's so uncommon. Yes, me too. But also because I'm lying. But that's unrelated. So yeah, technically I'm actually... Okay, this is on the left, but on the wrong left, chat. So weirdly enough, I started this one running on the right. And I need to actually go through and fix that. But thankfully, I've placed so few of the blocks that it's not that big of a problem. Also, there's a lot of this. Do I want that? I would suspect I don't. So I'll just place a cracked stone brick. And a cracked stone brick. And that'll solve all my problems. I've never believed his last name is Andrews. You know, it's the last name is Andrews, but the real first name isn't Andrew. It's what I do to throw people off. So now we run through here. It feels right for it to be on the left, but I guess it's... You have to like pick a direction for left to be consistent. And then as we run through here... yeah, actually, that's all I had to do is I just had to pick what side left was to mean a different left, chat. Oh, whatever. There is no objective left when going north, south, east, west. Anyway, so here is where the minecart track currently ends. It just hits a wall, and on the left side of this wall, you go into... What even is this, actually? I forgot what... Okay, clearly it goes somewhere, chat. I made a big... I enjoyed making this tunnel, as horrendous as it is. And it leads you out to... my cocoa bean farm? Yep, that makes sense. So I've got my big cocoa bean farm that you can walk to here. With some very logical water physics along the way. Just gonna bounce my way back through here. I think this definitely needs to be made wider, chat. I don't know about you. But I think I should at least one block wider. He's legally changed his name to Toy Cat. Yeah, I think that... I've said this before, but your nicknames and real names, like, what is the real distinction? When you really get into it, there's not much of one. And so, yeah, just remember, your real name and your nickname might be the same name. But yeah, the idea was to extend it this way a little bit as well. And then I've got this over here, which allows me to get inside of the cobblestone cube. So this is... Where even is the hole? There's meant to be a hole over here somewhere that allows me to see in here. It's a weird place. I don't know what I'm doing with it. But this is the end of the line so far. I'm thinking maybe I'll extend the line just a little bit to go out to where the structure is. But again, that's like a future project. I think it'd be better if I like nail down what we have already. I changed my username a couple of years ago because it was still my full name, like when YouTube first started, and it started to make me paranoid. Yeah, I do have to say, Google Plus had a moment where they had a really good idea, which was like people are just, people, talking too much shit online. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that everyone uses their real name. That way, no one will be talking any mess. So, Cat, on Switch, your time played is right, not -1 hours. Oh, that's fun. The Switch is the only edition without the bug. I don't have a nickname, but that doesn't stop people from making one up. That is true. No one can ever stop people from making up anything. Generic Observer, also known as, the Zodiac Killer. Yeah, I would agree with you, actually, but I'd hate to agree with someone who killed so many people in such a vicious way like you did, and never even apologized. Silliness aside, I'm going to shear some more white sheep, because I do have the wool in a chest, but it's also nice to get it from a nice renewable source. And then I think I'm going to bring some glass out. Because I do like the idea of going under a river and using glass to show how, like, yep, this is my little tunnel system. So let's grab the glass and do it. So my first name is Andrew, my last name is Toycat, because after I change it, that will be the last name I have before I die. Toycat Sucker 2019. Wow, you are up to date with the law, clearly. Don't need to be telling you anything. I have 2 nicknames, and they are both my username. Where does Beanie come from? If I've heard and I've forgotten, I'm sorry, but I'm not sure it ever has come up, Cat. Why are you Cat Beanie? Why the Beanie, you know? I would love to know. I know this will shock you, but Polly isn't actually my name. It says Mush. I've always known you were actually Mushy instead. So Mushy. Not my given name, anyway. Oh, that's fun. Oh, it is actually, you weren't making a joke. It is really that is very fun. Chat, I've been talking to Polly this whole time, but it's not really been Polly. It's like I've been asking for Angela this whole time before I found out who she really is. Okay, so let's put in a block. Okay, let's definitely put in some blocks here. So is this just a random cave that we're under right now? I think so. And then it's over here. No, wait. It was way back a bit, actually. Right? Oh, I have no idea where we are, chat. That definitely looks like there's a dirt ceiling above it. So that can't be the river. This has to be the river. It was, I was obsessed with beanbags as a kid, and it went from there. Oh, that is fun. You know, I like that. That's nice and wholesome. There's no terrible tragedy. There's just, I liked a thing, and then I got named after the thing. It's a good way for things to be. It's, you know, it's harmless. You're never like, and now I hate beanbags, and then people use it as a stick to beat me with. And it's like, no, yeah, this is, I do it this way, and this is the way I do it. I like it. That's beautiful. So I'm gonna see if I don't know how I look. Okay, this is where the sand is. So this is where, no, this is right in front of my house though. Chat, how did I lose? So it's got to be way further along than this. Logically. How did I lose something so major in my world? My real name isn't really Ruby. I just hate my OAP name. Your old age pensioner name. Alice Flowers says I used to have all those beanie teddies. What's your real name, Alice Flowers? Give us the secrets. Okay, it's over here. But yeah, okay, so this is where we're going to remove the ceiling and place a layer of glass. Yeah, it's actually, I thought it was the river. It's a bit less cool if it's under a lake. But we'll still remove all of this anyway. Do you think the glass makes sense here, chat? Or do you think we should do it where the stone is right now? Oh, it's still getting in through there. Yeah, chat, I want to know your thoughts. Should I have the glass be up on this level, where it's kind of like an obvious rising from the ground? Or should I have it be at this level, where it's slightly less obvious? Because I think seeing the tunnel through there is going to be really cool in either situation. But I don't know whether, like, near the surface or, like, barely pushing the seabed makes more sense. Her real name must be Fred. It might be Fred. It's not impossible, right? It's not impossible. And when we know Polly has spent some time on the streets, if we use that knowledge, you know what is the most common street name? Probably Fred. I mean, the most common annoying YouTuber name feels like it's Fred. So, I mean, honestly, does anyone know a Fred? I guess Wilfred. Yeah, that's where I'm going. Real name is Isaac Petal, or is it? Ah, there you go. Keep us guessing, Ellis Flowers. My name literally came from one night. I was getting a late night snack, saw a bottle of ketchup, and thought, huh, be a nice name, short for ketchup. Says Stayberry. Wait, ketchup? Your name, Stayberry? Where's the berry in ketchup? And how are you staying that way? Yeah, okay, so anyway, chat. I'm gonna probably Near the surface looks a bit weird. The lower one looks better. Okay, let's keep it low. Low and slow. That's what I always say. I never actually say that. Because I'm never cooking. Oh. So we'll get all of these blocks dug out. And we'll have it slowly fade in like this. Looks beautiful. So it does mean there's going to be a bit of a, you know, like a gap. The ceiling's going to get low for a bit. But I still think it looks pretty good. I think we should probably work to minimize the light that comes from down there. So maybe we'll put some, like, lanterns on the surface or something. But still, we've solved a lot of big problems today. I love making progress on these little bits of Minecraft world lore. Now the line... I almost wonder... Like, a part of me wants to put the line on this big map here. But I do think we should have, like, a separate map for the transport that we'll have to work on. I love having a big fun project to have some time with. But yeah, I've got one last question remaining. So I've now connected my 2 metro lines. Again, the actual rails still need to go there and the platforms and all the... There's you know, I've worked out the connection between them. But what's the connection going to be between my sky rail and my underground rail? In the real world, you can connect... In the UK at least, you can connect national rail to underground. In the New York system, you can connect, you know, like whatever it's called, like Grand Central Rail. No, what's the name? The Upper Rail, Hudson Rail. No, I don't know what the name of them are. The Long Island Railroad. There we go. You can connect that to the subway. So, yeah, I was thinking, actually. Here's my idea, chat. I have this big thing right here. I recently redid it. So, forever, it's just been dirt. Literally, I built it in 2013 using dirt, and I was like, that'll be temporary. I finally went through and fixed it. It'll be in some background gameplay. Maybe even for the Q&A, actually. Let me go find out. Assuming the Q&A's up. If it's not, something's gone horribly wrong. Okay, so chat. Okay. Should I go to sleep, actually? What am I doing awake at this time of day? So quickly just slide in here and go to bed. Okay, so my newest video is called... Oh, yeah, okay, it's out right now. Yeah, it is the gameplay in my newest Let's Play. So you can watch me finally, literally 13 years later, finish a build that I was just like temporarily putting some dirt in. The way you said Polly being on the streets definitely gave me a different vibe to what was actually in my life. I definitely wasn't working in the streets. Oh yeah, working in the streets does sound... Working in the streets is a different thing to being in the streets. I mean... Anyway, that is not what I meant to imply. My apologies. But I figured this would be a pretty good one because it is a minecart rail system, right? But then I kind of thought about it, and if you think about how like sky rails and if you think about how in the real world you interchange between real trains and metros, it's never a seamless interchange. It always is actually a bit of a like you leave this one, then you walk into that one. So maybe we've actually already solved this problem because you can come straight from this station, Big Salmon / Big Salmon Energy, and you go literally right out of it, and there's a staircase, world's most efficient staircase actually, that takes you right to the sky rail. There's even a ladder. There's so many shortcuts to get you to here. I built this when minecarts were the fastest transportation method. How times have changed, lol. And so then there is still the way to connect between the different systems. And this is effectively the light blue line, if you think about it. I don't know why there's so much cyan wool, but only specifically here. But yeah, so we could make a connection here, but then we could also make a connection, like, arguably at the Let's Play house. And then maybe it can connect to somewhere else also. Yeah, working the streets gives a different vibe. You don't need to live on the streets to work it. Yeah, but you don't need to work on the streets to live it either. I don't think. It's like having a lift directly between platforms. Yeah, I think that's a fun idea. But the Skyrail being stairs means it should be this kind of, like, inefficient way. Whereas I kind of think, like, we could have the minecart rail hooked directly into the tunnel. It's okay. You can never be worse than flight transfers, at least. Yeah, I met a friend today who was just complaining about flight transfers. They were like, why do we even have to change flights? Why can't the one flight just take us where we want to go? And it's kind of fun, actually, because, you know, you can probably, unless you're going to pretty niche places or coming from a niche place, You usually can actually get directly where you want to go, but there's a cost. There is a price surcharge associated with that, which I guess tells you the airlines at least know that it's a premium service. You could argue it means they're not incentivized to solve it, but that's a different, more broad point. Anyway, yeah, civil engineering. It's fun. You can do civil engineering in Minecraft if you want to, or you can just breed cattle. It's your choice, and it's fun that you get to have it. Oh, it's because it's raining, I get to have all of my my that thing effects, which is fun. I liked taking the South Shore. When you go up in South Bend, your ticket says SOB, which is amusing as a high school schooler. By the way, good to see you again, KMB. You see me at the end of this stream, because hopefully, despite this stream stealing like it was just a fun one now, just, you know, like it felt like we're late to the streaming game, but we're just enjoying it as we go along anyway. Hopefully, this stream is a classic of your life. I'm going to take a couple of days to recuperate, rest, and then we're going to be streaming. Chat, Streamus is coming back for December. I found the last couple of Decembers, you know, maybe I'm just getting an old man, but I found it's been like tricky to like balance life and not falling apart with that. So my current goal is to stream every day except for Saturdays in December. I'm going to do as much of that as I humanly can. So I want to spend the next couple days hopefully coming up with a couple of good stream names. Should be a lot of fun. Also, speaking of planes, I got a package from New Zealand recently. Isn't it insane how far that traveled? Isn't it insane that someone can just send you a thing from anywhere in the world if they have your address? Even if you live in the trickiest to reach country in the world, politically speaking. It's fun. Why don't you ever address the elephant in the room? Okay, you know what? Let's address the elephant in the room. Bearded man, it's good to see you. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Yeah, when we do the skygloo finale, Scoopski has made a delightful thumbnail. They did deliver on their promise to mix an IBX Toy Cat thumbnail with anime girls. So, you're gonna like it. Trust me. But I'll see you probably towards the end of next week, and then for streamers. Goodbye. Do you want to know a secret, chat? I put on this shirt to stream. But whenever I put on shirts, I hate putting on the buttons. I think it's like... I think the reason buttons exist is to prove that you're putting work into what you're wearing, and then that, like, somehow signals something. But if you want to know the secret, I only do buttons as far down as I think the camera will see. And so if you look down a little bit lower, it does in fact fall a little bit apart. Anyway, yeah. Goodbye to everyone, elephants included.